There's a shopping cart here at a cemetery. My guess, all of these bricks have to be from some of the graves that collapsed. Because when I was walking through, some of the graves in the distance, maybe like 2 or 3 of them are in general, they were broken down. I'm not too sure why, but you can see the inside, so when we get back there, I'll show you. Can you see it? They have water coming up from those 2 graves right there. And if you look toward the end, someone was from World War II. See that? This tree trunk, or limb I guess you could say in general, this tree branch is actually on top of some of the graves. So I'm going to get a closer shot to show you. See what I mean? It's covering up one of the gravestones. And it's branching out to these other ones. I don't know if this is temporary or if this is one of the actual original gravestones that I'm looking at. But watch this. It's made of wood and it's wiggling, so like I said, I don't know if it's the original one or what. I see concrete at the end, so I'm kind of wondering now. But you don't usually see these type of grave markers made of wood. Look how detailed this gravestone is. It's a book. And it shows his age that he died. I don't know if you can see it that well, but there's actually water here on top of the graves. I guess we're just really close to New Orleans. And you see that grave in the distance right there? When I went by it and looked at it, I'm like, why is this grave all by itself? And I still can't figure out why though, to be honest. I'm not sure if it's a famous person or what, but I'm gonna have to look it up when I get home to see. So I'm gonna look online to see if I can find some information about this grave. And if you look at it, it's starting to crack. Mouse trap and knives. That's kind of scary. And a candle. I don't know why, but I'm a fan of these type of graves where they have a steel fence around it. I think that's pretty cool. And let me show you something. Doesn't that add a level to eeriness? The moss with the grave. And of course there's trees growing out of the grave sites on this one. I'm curious to see who these people are, because when I stopped by this grave I was like, what? Anna Lewis Johnson. Jesse Clark Johnson. Joseph Jessup Johnson. I don't know what's up with this graveyard, but I keep finding all different type of utensils. Hope it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't this look cool? You see how it goes down and down? It reminds me of steps. That isn't a pretty cool grave. I like the way this was structured. That's so cool. Still need to figure out who these people are. I gotta look up the information, by the way. I'm wondering if this is actually a grave marker, or if they're saving it for somebody to be buried here, or there is someone buried here. I don't know. I just stumbled upon it just now. But my guess, there's flowers here, so I'm guessing someone's buried here. That's my guess. So I'm seeing markers around this grave. I'm guessing there had to be a massive fence around it. Look at that grave marker. That's the original gravestone of the person that died there. Charles Bradford Sr., I'm guessing, SR. He was born in 1852 and died in 1921. Now that is pretty cool. Now that's the kind of graves that I'd like to see, honestly. When I was looking close at this gate, I'm wondering what year this thing was made in. Because this is the type of stuff that you see in New Orleans, not in Slidell, which if I didn't mention that, by the way, that's where I'm at right now. Also, look at this. Somebody left some money on here. There's 2 quarters right there. I wish I could figure out who this grave could belong to. But there is no one. You can't find the name. The only thing that I could possibly find is right here. You see that? New Orleans, LA. I can't really read this top part that well. If you can, leave a comment below what it says, because it's hard for me to read it, especially the bottom part. That is a pretty cool bridge that they built right there around the water. You guys are going to be surprised about this little grave in a second. So you see how the river goes this way and then another way over here? It's actually making the shape of a heart. And Jesus is up on the cross. I'm about to find out who it belongs to. And I wish I had my drone at the moment. This is my first time seeing a heart-shaped grave that someone actually designed, sitting right next to Jesus. It's really cool how someone can actually take the time to think, what could we do besides having maybe like statues or what the other kind of designs that they do. So apparently they came up with a good idea to make a heart. You can tell by the river. Just look at this grave. You can actually see a part of it. You can still see the casket in there, which is actually kind of scary. I know you can't see it that well, but right where my finger I'm pointing, that's where the casket's at, right there. And that's kind of disturbing considering that this grave is actually left open and destroyed.